Okay, I'm in McDonald's, okay, and I'm laughing because today was a great day. This morning was a great morning. Why? It finally rained, okay. And why does that matter? Well, I'm trying to learn how to sleep in a tent. I got this quite big tent. I do highly recommend that you have a tent big enough to stand in, even if you have to buy one of those kind of canopy tents. Canopy tent might be the best kind of tent in a lot of ways. One of these high things with sides on it, and even if you have to put the sides, make the sides, I think it might be the best kind of tent. Okay, I keep looking at them because it's a lot more economical than one of these bigger tents. The bigger deal is that all the zippers on the tent are going to break. Okay, I got all these windows, blah, 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 and it'd almost be easier if I just had a mosquito net, then I pulled up the plastic on the side, okay? When it rained, I could pull up I could have little tarps in there. They have these 6-foot tarps that are very cheap that are in $1.25 in Dollar Tree. And it's, I'm thinking about it because it would take 1, 2, 3, 4, say 2, 6, 8 of them, so about $8. And they're much more versatile than having a wet side. I can move them around and adjust. And in the tent, what happened is at 3:21 a.m. it finally started to rain. Okay, so what happened is where the windows were, the water went in, kind of, and on the bottom of each one of these windows or whatever you want to call them inside a tent, there's a little fold there, and it wasn't tight enough, and that's where the rain dripped and formed a river through my tent. Okay, I was very fortunate that I had been buying these totes. I'm going to stop and show you. Okay, I was extremely lucky that I had 3 of these, 18 to 20 gallon totes. They call them totes. I don't know why exactly they call it tote, but it's a plastic container that keeps the water out, okay? And they were big enough, so I'm gonna go buy 2 more tomorrow. So, in my opinion, what you need is a lot of big totes, and you need a bunch of little containers, and you stack them, okay? And right now, if I would have been doing this, what I learned is what I need to do, right? How to adapt. So, the goal here is to learn how to adapt before I become in a very onerous place to live. Right now, I can receive Amazon packages, and I can get all different things. The secondary goal is for me to learn how to sleep off the grid. I'm very tempted to buy I guess I have one, but I don't know how to use it. I have a canopy tent my sister gave me, but there's no instructions. Thank you, Greatland, or whatever. I cannot find the directions. They're on the internet, but they're so, when you blow them up, you can't even read them. So I don't know. But to me, the best deal might be to just have a couple of these actual roof type things. The ones I seen in Rural King before didn't have really an adequate roof, okay, or ceiling or whatever. I'm going to keep doing this because I think camping would be much better with these canopy things, okay? And it's really, the idea is you want to assume there's not going to be any water in your tent. You ought to, in my opinion, assume there's going to be water in your tent, and that's the conservative way of doing it. Okay, so I'm grateful. I began at 3:21. Finally know it's my tent. I will finally know if my tent will provide shelter. Henry David Thoreau. I was thinking about, I want to name this tent. I'm just having trouble printing it. But Life in the Woods. I think I'm going to call it Life in the Woods or Life in the Woods. I don't know. I'll come up with something fun. But there is different shelters we need. I think the biggest shelter I need is probably from insects. Okay, insects seem to be the most onerous thing, and there's, for some reason, wasps get in my tent. I have no idea why these wasps and how they get into the tent. But you can see that I have a double bed mosquito net with me, and but it's not. I used to have one specifically made with the bottom on it, okay, and with a door on it and everything. But I don't know. I'm gonna really dwell on this. What I want to do is have the most economical, easy to replace type situation. Tents. I think a tent like I have would probably be about $150. I'll go look it up. Oh well, it's 15 by 10 feet, okay, and I'm going to write it on the side because people need to know the size of these tents with some permanent magic marker. Okay, but there's all sorts of little problems with the tent, and you don't know the true problems until you use it. One of the biggest problems is there's no way to bring the electrical cord into the tent. There's no little compartment. They need to have a little sleeve or something where you pull it through, then you put a tie string on it. But I would say this tent goes between $125 and $250. And you, of course, can always spend a lot more. Okay, I'm laughing. Okay, so it's shelter from the animals, insects, sun, heat, snow, and now finally rain. Okay, I don't plan on ever sleeping in the snow. I'm one of the very fortunate people that the minute that the weather becomes inclement for the United States, I can get on a plane and go to Colombia or Thailand or Africa, where I can live in a hotel for really, I guess the price of a hotel with a room and Wi-Fi and everything and a hot shower is one half the price of living in the tent right now. Normally, the easy price to get on a tent is right around $30 a night. But this is going to change from state to state, and I'm just saying, if you want to budget it, you probably better figure at least $40 a night for the tent. And this is the problem: you can sleep in a hotel for really cheaper than that, or there's a lot of hotels alongside the highways that are cheaper. Okay, but I don't know. You're going to always have trouble finding a hotel. I don't know what the minimum amount is, and I'm not going to sleep in a van again. That was way too hot. I slept in a van for almost 3 months, and I could never get it cool enough. Okay, now I do know now how to create. Well, on my van, I needed a way to put it under shade, and I needed to have it be self-contained without being able to tie to a tree, because I needed the shade anywhere I parked it. So you park it when I parked it in I don't know, a park, it was cooking, always cooking, and then what happens then, the shade moves under the tree, next thing you know, you're cooking again. So, and who wants to just lay in their van all day long? It's really kind of onerous. I'm kind of moving right now towards the idea of a car that gets about 60 miles to the gallon, and the smallest possible. Then how am I going to fit all these totes in there? So these totes are these plastic containers, right? And but you have to protect yourself from animals. Like there's a lot of deer where I'm at, woodchucks, rabbits, and there's nothing really problem child. I mean, a deer could be a problem if it came too close. I did, on the way leaving the park, there was a deer sitting alongside in the rain, just next to the road. That was kind of funny. I left my tent about 5 o'clock in the morning and came to McDonald's after I stuffed everything into the totes. Okay, still a problem. Okay, I didn't have enough totes, and I was getting worried about my computer. And I have a table in there, and I was very lucky. I had two, what would you call them? Two tarps that I bought at Dollar Tree that I covered the table, and then I covered this one cardboard box. Okay, that cardboard box, it's a no-go. Okay, can't have cardboard box to store stuff in a tent. You need plastic containers, and of course you're going to have trouble stacking them all in a van. In a SUV, I could put these in there pretty easily, but the gas mileage was increasing. So, in a way, I'm traveling with probably I'm living in this tent with twice as many things as I really need. Okay, and I could have put 2 or 3 of these totes inside the car. I'm not sure if I could. 1, 2, 3, 4. I probably could carry all these totes. 1, 2, 3. So I got to know how many totes I could put in the car if I was going to travel. I'm not going to really travel because I have zero desire to see the United States. It's like the most onerous, difficult place. Well, Europe's always more difficult. But is it better than sleeping in a tent? Is it better than a hostel? No, it's not. Hostel's a lot easier, although I don't really like making my little tent in I normally make a tent even in a hostel on the bottom bunk, and then a really good hostel has a self-contained little room thing. So what is better? Probably a hostel, but the hostels can be $45, $50 a night. So at the end of the day, is there really something I want to see inside the United States? Yes, there is. I want to see my family. Okay. So I'm here living in Indiana so I can see my family. I'm in an area I've already seen I've seen all 4 of my siblings, and we're going to have different times, and there's a lot of excuses now for seeing them. But here, I took some notes as the rain started. It was quite fun before it became pretty. It never rained hard. It just started hard, then slowed down. Started with the breeze and whatever. But I had a rain alarm thing on my phone. And it was kind of funny. It started warning me about 20 minutes after it started raining. So that really wasn't quite adequate. I wonder if I can show you this thing. There's rain alarms that you can get, and they're pretty cool. I mean, I think I have to pay for one to actually get it adequate to work. Okay, because it doesn't sound loud enough. It doesn't make enough noise. It's got a little map. So is it showing rain here? Nah, that's not good. Venuski, one app that I have on my phone, is much better for telling me where the rain is. I think that's let's see, I have all these travel apps. So I'm a guy that actually needs these things, right? So what do you call it? Ventuski? Yeah, Ventuski. These are something that really is helpful. Keyed in on Guatemala right now. And can we get it to quickly go to United States? No. Okay, but I will show you sometime this. I'm going to do a video with all my apps, my travel apps. And the way I do on apps is I download them, test them, download, test them, download, test them, and then what remains is what I use. But it's kind of a humorous that the real apps. I mean, I have an Expedia app that's a little bit valuable, but I'm not going to buy plane tickets on my phone. That just to me seems a ridiculous way to buy plane tickets. You're going to lose money. You're going to lose probably 30-40%. Okay, so the gentleman needed to sweep the carpets. McDonald's is incredibly clean here. Okay, but I'm laughing. I'm always kind of Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude is laughing at the misery of other people. And I know that most people would be kind of making this into a catastrophe instead of an opportunity. And they're going to get angry because they had to get woken up at 3:21 in the morning. They're going to be angry that they had to get in a car. They're going to be angry at these things. Hungry. They get hungry and then they get angry. Hangry. Any kind of inconvenience is the default setting for people. They're going to start whinging, okay? And I call them wimps, okay? But if you have no patience and you get angry and frustrated, stay home, okay? Stay in a safe place and just complain where you're at, okay? If you don't like inconvenience, then you should definitely not travel the world because there's nothing convenient about the world. If you like a challenge and you like to daily conquer the world, travel, okay? Okay, what am I waiting for? The rain started and there's a plop, 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 plop. What am I waiting for? I want knowledge of something that truly matters, okay, in my tent. right now I've been dealing with the heat, which is not really a problem, okay? It's just an annoyance, okay? But getting electrocuted, having the water, all the wires and whatever. I was really lucky. I bought one of them totes and I put all my wires in there so they're sitting in there. I was debating whether I should unplug the electrical cord from the plug-in for the campsite. I want to make sure, will I get electrocuted inside the tent? Okay, I had a river going through the tent. Okay, and I made some on my travel tips channel. I gave a couple of pictures. And there's, what are we going to do? Does this park really want me to dig a trench around the edge of the tent so that I can keep the water from coming under the tent? See, the water went down and then it went like a little river under the tent, and it kind of came into the tent. Hard to say where it's coming from, but it wasn't that much water, and it's kind of river going in and out of the tent. In a way, I'm kind of excited. I was going to move the tent to a hillier spot, and I think it would be better actually if the water just flowed under the tent and kept going. I think I'll do that. I'll move it to the other spot because you might as well be on the hill where you keep the water flowing. You don't want it settling like a pond under your tent. So in a way, I'm probably better if I have on a little bit of a hill. I do have a cot which keeps me out of the rain, but I don't know. I'm definitely going to move. Yeah, I'm going to move. See, this is the adaptation that you have to do as a traveler. Okay, I'm going to put, and I have to think about this, and the more I talk about it, the more I do it. But if I would have been on the ground where the water flows, it would have flowed underneath the tent and kept going. Okay, it wouldn't have created a pond in the middle of my tent. But I'm going to return later and see what it's doing. Will there be drops of rain? So every scene, I had a computer running and I was taking notes as it started to rain. And there's different areas where it started to leak, okay, like little drips of water. And how do I have a container? I mean, in a way, I could have taken a big tote, put it on side, and put my computer inside of that. And that would be a way to make sure that it never actually dripped on my computer. And that's a good idea. I just realized I could take a big tote. They're not really square. It'd be better if they were square. But I could put it on my table and put all that stuff inside of it. And I'm going to assume that there's going to be water in the tent. Above my cot, that's going to be a problem. The cot is waterproof, but the sheets, I took all the sheets and wrapped them up in a bunch of garbage bags. And I have my dirty clothing and I have my sheets, which some of them got a little wet. So, everything's going to need to be dried out. And clotheslines is a difficult situation, okay, because washing clothes, and I don't know, there's just no accommodation in this campsite for washing clothes. I went to the laundry the other day, and I would never think about washing my clothes inside a tent like I do in a hotel room. Much easier because in the hotel room I can, everything's dry, right? And I can put a fan on it and dry it. But I'm not going to. I think it would be just a very onerous situation. But it's something like $3.25 for a wash machine, so $5 or $6 a load, and not a very good laundromat here where I'm at. I'm thinking about traveling to another city here to go to Joann Fabrics to buy some different things. I need to buy some nylon material for to make that area. I'm going to sew it on there by hand. I'm going to sew a hole where I can have the thing, and I'm probably going to make a flap that I can pull up and Velcro to cover up the little joint because the insects are coming in at this joint where the zipper comes down and the zippers come together. I didn't get electrocuted in the tent. I did make a mistake and I made some coffee. And I always put my coffee in a little plastic container. I've been doing this for years. And I think I really packed it up very quick in this one tote. And I didn't remember that the coffee was in there, but it's in the bottom of one of these big totes. And I'm hoping that there's no damage done to anything. Everything that was in that container was something that wouldn't get damaged with coffee. But I have a lot of. I did realize I need to reveal or find all my steel. I bought them at. You can buy them at Dollar General. You can buy them at Dollar Tree. These little steel safe. What do you call it? Clothespins. They are. I really need those to try to hold things down while, to clip and make the tarps tight. So I put them on the table, but I need to make them tight so that the water flows off of them. So I don't know. I didn't get any water on my computer. It's inside a tote. When I was looking at the tent, when you lay in the light of the day, when I look at the top of the tent, you can actually see like streaks of what looks like light, like water would come through it. As far as I can tell, where there was a good slope, I didn't have any water, but it would be really nice to somehow spray or add more repellent on this tent. I haven't figured out how to buy that stuff yet. There's a couple athletic supply places in Fort Wayne or maybe Auburn that I'll go to. So I'll take some notes and I'll go to these things. I better write that down right now. Okay, so I'm going to go to a bigger city where there's a couple athletic supply stores, and I'll try to buy some stuff for the tent. It's hard to say sometimes what's more economical. Sometimes Amazon's cheaper, and sometimes eBay's cheaper, sometimes but you really need to have knowledge of all three of these ways to buy stuff. The wind didn't go more than about 15 degrees, and it was kind of nice to be having internet in my room. In my tent. It's a 15 by 10 tent. And Henry David Thoreau really did better. Okay, I mean, he had an actual rain-proof tent with lath and all that stuff. A rain-proof shack or whatever. I'm really not sure what the big deal about the floor is. In a lot of ways, even a dirt floor in a lot of places where I've been in Africa and stuff is really kind of nice because it packs down and becomes like a rock. Okay, don't think that a dirt floor is bad. I mean, dirt floors are actually very good, and you're going to do better at earthing. So I'm not really scared of a dirt floor. Okay, I know most people would think that they should be, but all you're going to do is you're going to put a tarp on it. It's going to make this layer of slushy water Again, a dirt floor is not as big a deal. Okay, I was laughing when I was out in Boston. I went to one of these primitive, they had these where the settlers were, and they didn't realize that when you have a dirt floor, they sweep it. Okay, they always sweep dirt floors. Okay, because and they use the worst possible situation is when they don't have a broom or something. They will just use a branch with some leaves on it, and there's nothing inside a dirt floor room. Okay, it's very, very clean. Okay, I am not forced to leave during a storm. I am not going to get wet in that tent. That's for sure. But stacking these totes is a better way to store them than I had them all walled up on the wall. Okay, so it would be better to have them stacked up. Okay, because it's easier to think. The bad part is anything I need inside of these totes is more difficult to get to, right? But I have way more than what the average person is going to do. Life is good, and you should look at every kind of inconvenience and things that challenges your patience should be just a challenge to your intelligence. Okay, can you adapt and avoid this again? And so you have a problem, you sit there and you think about it. How can you move and maneuver? You don't tolerate it. Tolerating of a problem is just a child. Okay, a child. Anybody that tolerates all the miseries of life is not really get out of the genetic pool. Okay, you shouldn't tolerate things more than one or two times until you figure out a way around it. So the next time it rains, I'll be sleeping in my tent. I will not be doing anything other than going, oh, it's raining. Okay, because now I will adapt. The only problem I'm a little worried about is the rain. And I don't know if you've ever seen it, but when they have electrical come into the house, they have this little dip like this in the wire so that the water falls off before it enters the box, okay, the meter box. There's these ways of having the water drip off outside the thing. So I don't know. I need to get the wire in an area where it drips and it's controlling the drip. And if water gets on it, and it should be maybe in a container. I have a table in thing. You know, it's kind of vinyl topped or whatever, so it's not really a big deal if it gets wet. The fan, I don't know. I don't think the two fans are going to have much problems with the rain. I don't keep those fans. I wanted to hang them in the windows, but I don't know. I'm going to try to figure this out. See, putting them on top of the totes is a better way. Okay, how much water, you know. But again, if I have two more totes, I can easily have everything in that room, this is 3 times more than you're probably going to be carrying. Everybody wants to worry about the freaking food and all this stuff and eating all that stuff, and I could care less about eating, because the more convenient I make it to eat, the more I get fat. And I'm 65 plus, and I'm not that, you know, I'm a little chubby, but I'm not like the average person my age that is just a pig. Okay, being a philosopher, what you want to be is the best possible example of mankind or womankind or humanity. Okay, when somebody loses their temper or they get frustrated, they get angry, and this is the failure to adapt, okay, and it's the failure to really be grateful and appreciate your life. Okay, so I'm constantly going to be pointing out that when you have impatience, anger, frustration, and you're not looking at it as a challenge to how to deal with it the next time. See, being part of the problem means that you're going to get frustrated. If you just say, hey, it's an opportunity to learn. Don't get me wrong. If it would have started raining and the tent would have fell down and my computer got destroyed, I wouldn't be happy. But I have 2 computers, one that I'm carrying in my backpack, and whatever. Okay, by the way, my sister gave me a little storage light that I didn't think I needed, but I did need it. I did need some flashlights and stuff like that. And you need a light that you can sit on a table. Why? Because there's, I should have went and unplugged everything and just went off the grid until the water stopped, rain stopped in a way. I left it running so I could use my light, my clip-on light. But these little, I actually carried it all the way to the car. The front tarp above the door went like that, filled up with water, and pulled one of the stakes out of the ground. So I got things to adapt to. Okay, but there's nothing more fun than trying how to conquer the world. Nothing can be more fun than conquering the world. Okay, when you let the world conquer you. I was sitting in an AA meeting almost 30 years ago. I've been sober for 37 years. And I said, life is a game. And the losers become the game. Okay? The people that get all angry, upset are the game of life. Okay? They kind of have looked at it from the wrong point of view, and they become the game. When you are the game of other people, when you are the one reacting, you're not conquering the world. So if you start to get angry, realize People want to point at other people. You got three fingers pointing back at yourself. Adapt to the world, guys. Life is you've never lived in an easier lifestyle, okay? Right now, there is no easier way to live than what there is in 2024. Life is as easy as the whole world's became a wimp, okay? Nobody has any fortitude or mental. Be the conqueror. Conquer your world. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not?